Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Korman Productions, here to talk to Brian Greene from AlexPlace.com. And we're not doing this via video chat or anything. He's sitting right here in our recording studio,
live
aka
and in person,
aka Stacie's basement.
Not live, but
not. I wouldn't really say it's
live
live
for us.
Yes.
I'm alive. I'm here.
Yep. There's Brian. He's alive. That's always a good sign. All right. So, Brian, welcome to Connecticut. Welcome to the podcast and all that. Did you enjoy your trip?
I enjoyed the trip immensely.
That's good. All right, so yeah, I mean, Brian, I gotta say, it's weird enough to be able to, have you on Facebook and talk to you on Facebook and then message you, and now having you in my best friend's basement, that's even more wild.
Say that 5 times.
And we're gonna go see Scott Bakula in Man of La Mancha.
Yes, we are.
All right.
It's gonna be a great trip. We're doing that tomorrow as of when we are recording, but this video will drop first.
Yep. All right, so Brian, you have made many changes to your website, AlexPlace.com, where we have gotten our information from for a couple years now.
And many people have for much longer.
Yes, we're like over 20 years now. So you want to discuss some of these changes?
Why don't we start with the basics?
Okay.
Talk about the site.
Okay.
There's a chance somebody's watching this that doesn't know about it, but
yeah.
let's start with the history and the basics, and then talk about what's new.
Okay. Well, I'm not great at talking about myself, but
That's okay. We're just chatting.
The site was made in 2000. It was just on a little personal site I had with some other stuff, and I started just adding some pictures to it, and people would, I'd gotten a couple of videos from different places and made a couple of my own, and it was just one of those. Everybody had their own little personal website back in the in the 2000s when the internet first kind of started erupting. And so I had this little Quantum Leap section. I had some other stuff. I had some X-Files, a little bit of it, and just things I was doing, plays I was in, stuff like that. Well, I kept building on the Quantum Leap part of it, and eventually more people were coming than just my sister, like it was before.
Is she your biggest fan?
Well, she was the only one looking at my website. But other, I guess
I think I was back in the day.
When it first came out?
Maybe not.
Probably not. But some people, the search engine was picking up the words Quantum Leap, so it would kick me in a little bit more and a little bit more. And eventually people started just sending me stuff a lot, and I would go out looking for it and get videos. I ordered some of the VHS tapes people were selling, various things, bloopers and all this stuff people had, started collecting and stuff on VHS tapes. So I would take it and I would put it on the website. And so that's kind of what really, I had more media files than most other places. And people started coming for that. So it just kind of built, and finally I decided to separate it from my personal site because more people were kind of getting into my personal stuff than I wanted to. So I separated it and got the I wanted Quantum Leap in the title of the URL, but it was already taken, and there was a great site called quantumleaping.com with a guy from the UK, Dermot Devlin, who's a friend of mine, and so I just made it quantumleap-alexplace.com. I loved the last episode so much I called it Al's Place, and that's where that came from.
Okay.
So it's been online since 2000, and I've just added in different sections and everything. But right after the convention, which is a whole nother story, but not much happened after that. The show was gone. It wasn't really on anywhere as much like it had been on USA and Sci-Fi Channel and all that. And it just sort of kind of went quiet for a while, and I had a son at the same time. So for about 8 or 9 years or so, really nothing going on with the website. And then, I noticed that there was a couple of podcasts coming, like the Quantum Leap podcast and Fate's Wide Wheel. And I started listening to those and watching those again. And, I'd add a couple little things to the website here or there, but not a whole lot, because they were doing a fantastic job. But then right before the new series was even announced, even a gleam in anyone's eye, I started working on the episode guide, building it more, because it was very simple. Years ago we had adopted episodes, and people had gone through and come up with mistakes and things they liked about it and all this stuff, and everybody took an episode and did it that way. And so that was exactly 20 years ago to this year. So, like I said, a couple years ago, I started building an episode guide, and I started reorganizing it a little bit and adding things to it, because 20 years have gone by since it's been worked on, and there's a lot of stuff, that came to light that no one knew before. So I started putting that on here, and then Matt, he made these wonderful books, and you must get a copy of this. You absolutely have to have this. But some of the stuff, he let me borrow from. So there's a little snippets in there, but get the book because you need the book. Did I say that?
We got 2 copies of the book on the table.
Yep. You can type it in Google. You can go to Al's place and easily find where to get this.
I feel left out. I should have a book in front of me.
Sure.
Okay.
And the second volume too, and hopefully one day we'll have the third volume. That didn't get finished because he passed away sadly. But anyway, so I started working on that, and I finished the episode guide. I thought I was finished with it. And then I started working on other sections of the site, and I was like, this just looks kind of old, So I would start playing with it and remodeling it, in other words. And I started doing one section at a time, and a few months went by, and I realized I had done almost all of it. And then I went back to the episode guide and made it match. And then I went back to the Revival Series site that was totally different and made both of them match. So it's all the same kind of look now, no matter which site you go to. So you can go into any page, anywhere, and it's going to be brand new, updated, probably double what was there before. And I'm not making that up. It's about double on every page. So I've had a really good time over the last couple of years doing that. So go check it out. I don't know what else to say about it. It's all brand new.
So, do you think if the new show hadn't come out that you would have done all these changes?
Oh yeah, I started on it before the show was ever announced.
Okay.
And then that's what actually took me this long to get it done, because that show came in between when I started working, and I started working on the new one, and I didn't have a lot of time.
And podcasting about it.
I got into
2 different channels.
I never thought I would be on a podcast of any kind ever in front of people. But people asked me to do it a couple times, and it was fun, so then they asked me again, and finally I started doing it kind of regularly with Damon Chigamelli's Phantom Entanglement one, and then the Quantum Leap podcast, and now here we are.
Yes. Albie claims you specifically. He says that you are his.
Right. Well, I'm on the website now, so I feel special to be in the mix of all the people there.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit.
He says you already have been. What else you got?
Right.
All right. Favorite episode of the original Quantum Leap?
Their favorite episode? Another Mother.
Another Mother?
Another
okay.
Mother.
That's
my favorite one.
Okay. How about worst?
Worst, maybe Tahotep.
Okay.
Blood Moon.
Blood Moon. That was a Tommy Thompson episode, and that is actually one of my least favorites as well from season 5. I'm just not that into gothic horror. It's just not my thing.
Yeah. I thought we were going to get Blood Moon 2 with the new series, but it ended up being, something else.
Which episode did you think was going to be Blood Moon 2?
I can't remember now, but it's. I remember thinking
there's only 31 to pick from.
We were joking about it, and I think Allison Pregler said it somewhere, and she thought it was going to be Blood Moon 2, which no one needs.
All right. Favorite episode of the Revival series?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, I love the first one. I did. I really loved it. A lot of people said, "Oh, the graphics were blah blah blah."
Yeah, we weren't a fan.
I loved it.
Of it.
I loved it. I did. I loved it right off the bat.
See, my problem with it is that it was just ridiculously paced. It was like it just flung things at you.
It did.
Now, if you're an old fan, you know what the series is about.
Right.
But if you're trying to attract new fans,
well, that's a good point. That is a good point, because I already knew everything. And, to see all the little tidbits flying at you was kind of cool. For me anyway, but yeah.
How about worst?
Worst episode? I don't even know if that was my favorite one, but I remember liking that one a lot. The worst was A Kind of Magic.
Yes, okay. See, that is on a lot of people's worst list.
Yeah, that's bottom of the barrel there.
Yeah.
Now, okay, if you just take out all of the historical inaccuracies. And there were
if you just look
many.
At it as its
if
own
you just looked at it like
fiction.
a fantasy world, it was fun. If you watch it like that, but if you're looking for like any kind of historical accuracy whatsoever, it's completely wrong. All of it, every last minute of it. But otherwise,
You got any specific examples of where they went wrong?
Oh gosh, they never burned anyone at the stake ever. That was not a thing
in New England.
In New England,
it was a thing in
but not
real
there.
England.
What were they making?
Bye.
Goodbye, bottle cap. They were making what was it from the fire?
Charcoal.
Charcoal. That's not how you make charcoal. You can't do it that fast. No. Mm-mm. And they were pulling pieces of wood off of the fire, like immediately after it went out, which there's no way you could touch that with your bare hands. And it was just all kinds of stuff. Like even at the beginning with the sulfur smell, do you smell sulfur? Well, I'm like, it's coming from that well that's in the middle of the street. Why was it in the middle of the street? Don't know that either.
See, now I think that part makes sense to me, anyways, because you didn't have roads yet. You didn't have you had horses, but you didn't have cars, and horses, they didn't travel that much. Traveling was very, very minimal.
True.
Even with the horse, and it makes sense to me that the middle of the town is your water hole.
Okay. Well, I still knew the sulfur smell was coming right out of there, and like, why didn't anybody else figure that out?
See, now I didn't love the episode, but I forgave it. As soon as they told us we're not actually in Salem, we're in a fictional town, I forgave it, and I said, okay, I will accept the fact that a fictional town has a fictional history.
Oh, it was fictional.
If they said we are in Salem and this is what happened, I don't think I could have held on. But we made up the whole place, so
it was a lot made up there.
So what do you suppose the legacy of the new series is? Is it going to have the same kind of staying power as the original?
No, I don't think so. And that's a shame because I would have loved to see what would have happened with Two Leapers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the original series was going to go there. They were thinking about it, and they were thinking about doing it with like a teenage kid going along with Sam, which
really
was a stupid idea. I'm glad that never happened. But that was one of the things they were pitching at one point. The NBC wanted them to have maybe a kid, quote unquote, leap around with them. Just to NBC, dumb sometimes. Sorry.
I would say a lot of the times, and I'm saying that despite the fact that we still have screeners from them, and we might be covering some of their shows still, but yeah, NBC, they come up with these great concepts for television shows, and they never really support them.
Right.
Like, they just constantly give them the yaks.
Yeah, the second season, there was almost no promotion of the second half of the season.
Yeah,
it's like they knew they were going to exit no matter what.
Right, yeah. I mean, basically, yes, the ratings were pretty miserable in the back half of the season.
They were.
But
they didn't promote it. I mean,
why was that exactly?
Yeah.
Like, because they didn't, like, half the time, like, Facebook people wouldn't even know that the show was back.
Yeah.
So.
First season, they had, Quantum Leap Day. They had gas station, prices for all this stuff. They had all this merchandise and everything, and it just kind of disappeared. They just gave up. And I guess the writer's strike had something to do with that. But
yeah. Some people,
was a shame.
There are some people who think that the reason the series even came back was because the writer's strike was coming. But yeah, it's a shame.
But they had the episodes filmed. They were smart enough to film them before the strike. Half of them, anyway.
Now, do you think that if the series had not been canceled, that it might have, I wouldn't say equal the original, but would have had some staying power in the public consciousness?
I think they were getting there. They started learning what people really wanted to see. They were doing less of the future or present scenes. They were still putting it in there, but it wasn't like all the...
And it started getting more cohesive.
Right. And it was
Absolutely.
come together. You got the little bits that you wanted to see in the present, and then you got the really good Leap story, and there were some good ones. But yeah, with the Two Leapers, that would have been neat because what if they didn't leap together?
Right.
You had.
There were all sorts of story.
Are there going to be?
For sure.
How would you visit both of them in the imaging chamber and all that kind of stuff? That would have been neat to see. Would you have to have two imaging chambers? Who knows?
Well, they did now.
Right.
They just
had
bring
Genesis.
it in.
They had Genesis. Yeah. So I mean, it was cool. And then the last episode, of course, had all the Easter eggs and things. And you had all the throwbacks to the original, which people obviously just loved. And they could have done a lot of stories with the original series. They could have done characters from other leaps, back then, and brought them in and see where they are now, and any kind of stuff like that. And everybody wanted to see where the old project was, and they could have done that. So many things they could have done if NBC didn't let Dick Wolf take over the entire, manifest of shows.
Basically,
So.
basically that is exactly what happened.
Oh yeah, Dick Wolf bought him out.
All right. Do we have anything else that you want to ask, or any questions you can think of for
Well,
Brian?
you talked about the website. Let's talk a little bit about your forums as well.
Oh yes, the forums are
Yeah.
updated too. We had the Kickstarter that we did in November of this past year, 23, and it, I thought maybe somebody would donate $1 here or there, and it would take the whole 60 days or 90 days or whatever it was. So I did like the maximum you could do. But what I didn't realize was if it got funded earlier, you couldn't just stop taking the funds. It doesn't let you close it. So people kept donating, and I was like, ah. So we ended up getting a better system than we were going to, which was amazing because it got funded within 3 hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah. One person especially, who I can't say who it is, but I wish I could tell you, donated over $150, which paid basically the whole thing almost. And so we put a lot of effort into it. Me and Morgan, especially Morgan. I drove him nuts with design stuff that I wanted, and he wanted to kill me probably a couple of times. But it looks great. It looks just enough like the old version to make people have that kind of nostalgia for what it was. But there's a lot of new features on there, like you can do animated GIFs, and you can do anything you can do on Facebook, you can do on the new forums.
And we can embed our videos directly.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can just copy and paste a link, and it will
Which
come
is
up with your
awesome.
video or whatever.
Absolutely.
You can grab an image from any site and just copy it from there and paste it right into the your message or whatever.
Yeah, you can find our podcast right on there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even have to go to YouTube. You can just watch them right
Yeah.
through the forum.
Yes, you can. And all of your guys' podcasts are on our episode guide pages too at the bottom.
That's a pretty
So
awesome.
they're all the podcasts, the main ones. And if you're watching this and your podcast is not on there, let me know what it is, and I'll look at it and get it on there. But yeah, all your episodes so far are on each page, and so is Quantum Leap Podcast, Big Up Flywheel, all those. So you can watch any podcast. You can watch hours and hours of stuff.
Yes.
Plus
Unlimited content.
yeah. And there's links to all my YouTube stuff too, with videos and behind the scenes and bloopers and everything we've always had, plus a whole bunch more that I've kind of collected over the years. So you can go and find all of that stuff. It would take you weeks to go through the entire site. There's over 1,000 pages, and I know that because I just remodeled every single one of them. One at a time. There's no batch conversion with an old site like that. You have to do it all page by page. So that was fun. It really was fun, but it took me forever.
Are you done?
I think no, never done. Never done. Never done. Always adding more. I added a couple of things yesterday. Just little things that I had in a folder somewhere that I was like, okay, I've got time to do it. So I just pasted it. But yeah, you can go find all kinds of stuff. I even got the old puzzles working again. There's some digital puzzles in there with just Quantum Leap images, and you can just play it, and put these puzzles together on your computer, your desktop. I got those working, so just some fun stuff. Oh, and the main pages with the interface, the menus, in other words, you got two different sites all in one. So you got the Revival series and you got the Classic series. And so I made these pretty neat hand link looking menu pages. And if you click on certain buttons, it will do things and it'll take you to certain places. And if you hover above them, sometimes it'll do something. And sometimes if you click them, it'll do something else. So there's some hidden ones in there that are just for fun. You could probably spend a good hour messing around just on the original series menu page.
There you go. Just making the hand link make sounds. That's pretty cool.
It does make sounds. Thanks to Morgan, also for that, Morgan Feldon. He's the one that helps make the real life looking gummy bear hand links and all the hand links from Replica Props, and he gave me the sounds they use for the hand links.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So-
I first played with that menu and listened to the sounds while I was in the grocery store.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good sounds in the grocery store.
I was in the grocery store and you messaged me a link and you were like, check this for me, and I was like, oh, I need to play with that right
Stacie
now.
was my big tester for the probably drove her nuts on some things, but
Yeah, it's been cool enough to be able to be friends with you and be able to message you randomly about questions we have about the series, but they'll also have our podcast on there, as well as having my name on, all the episode guide stuff.
I feel like I'm a celebrity or something,
yeah.
but I just knew how to type a lot and been around a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on that site for a really long time. I won a season 4 DVD way back in the day. So
from me,
yeah,
from us,
from you.
You were one of them.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yep.
How did I not realize that was you? Oh my lord.
Yeah.
I remember doing those. Universal sponsored it and gave us all the logos and everything.
How many people won?
Oh gosh, there was at least 2 from each season. So.
Oh, okay. So I was one of 2.
1 of 10.
10.
1 of 10.
One of
2
10
for that
Math.
season.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we had 2 sets that went out for each season.
Okay.
If I remember right. So yeah, your name's probably on the side somewhere. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. Small world.
Yeah, and I think it was in the forums at one point. I can't find any of my comments anywhere, but yeah, like way back in the day before you remodeled it and stuff like that. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, the comment should be somewhere.
Yeah.
You probably don't remember your
Somewhere in
name.
there.
Yeah, I probably had like some weird screen names. So all right, do we have anything else for him, you think?
Well, let's talk about our adventures this weekend before we
yes.
close.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Because you're not just here to to talk to us.
So I don't remember our intro. Did I even introduce you?
No.
Yeah.
It's
So
okay.
it's Dave from Korman Productions with my co-host Stacie and Brian Greene.
I mean, it's right there.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think I did a very good intro. That's what
You never do.
I mean, when
every video we do, you're like, I sucked at that intro.
that's what I get when I don't have like prep.
We don't have any paper. I think it's the first time we've ever done anything without paper in front of us.
Right, basically.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, our adventures this weekend. We're gonna go see Scott Bakula in Mancha.
Yes, we are.
Cool stuff.
It's going to be amazing. We are going up to New Hampshire. We're in Connecticut right now. Driving to New Hampshire in the morning. We're going to meet up with some of our other friends and spend the day together and do some podcast stuff, create some content, and then we're going to watch play.
Heck yeah.
With Scott Bakula and Chelsea Field.
And then, according to Brian, we're actually going to meet Scott Bakula for the second time.
We hope.
If
We
everything
hope
goes
it's
according to plan.
Yes, indeed.
So when we do our podcast about our adventures, are we going to say 500 times that we met Scott Bakula?
No, we did
No.
that already.
Yeah, okay. We'll only do
Now
it.
we met Brian Greene.
Right, now we met Brian Greene.
Well,
Is
who needs Scott Bakula? You got me
Exactly,
in your
exactly.
basement.
And I got this made for our trip from our Zazzle page. If anybody looking for any merch from Korman Productions, it's all there. Oh, I made it dirty on the back already.
Oh,
How did that happen?
Oh no, now you need one. Go to Zazzle.
Go to Zazzle. Yeah, so the Korman Productions Deep Dive TV podcast, which nobody knows the name of our show. You don't know the name of our show.
It's the Korman Production Deep Dive TV podcast.
See, you never get it right, and Albie never gets it right. Nobody knows who we are.
well, it's better than what Chris did once on the Quantum Leap podcast. With like Stacie from the TV Talk podcast.
Nobody knows who we are. So
You
what
should
did I
have
do?
seen me trying to do Christina's
Wait, what did I
Quantum
do with
Leap
the thing?
podcast. Announce her.
I gotta find the one I
It was a
took
mess.
out because I lost it. It's here somewhere. Let me take out another one. So this is for you. So now you will know the name of our show.
I got a magnet.
You got a
Are you
magnet.
serious? Oh, that's awesome. I love magnets.
So now you'll know. Now you can't forget who we are. And those are
I'll
on
never.
Zazzle as well.
That is awesome. I love magnets. I get a magnet everywhere I go. So
Yeah,
I've
you told me
already
that a
you.
couple days ago, and I thought that was really funny because I had a magnet
And you
for
had
you.
a magnet. So that is awesome. That's what I get. Instead of expensive souvenirs like cups and whatever people get, I get magnets from everywhere I go. So that's awesome.
Sweet deal.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else you want to promote or talk about or?
Poland spring water. I've never had this because they don't have it in North Carolina, which is where I'm really from, Albie, if you're watching this. But yeah, good stuff. Get your hands on some.
All right, so Poland Springs will definitely appreciate the plug. I wish I was getting like an actual endorsement from them, but not so much.
Maybe not.
Not today.
All right, so I guess that's all we have to say for it, right?
All right, yeah. So stay tuned for the next week or so, probably after you see this at some point. You're going to see a video all about our trip and all of the fun adventures we're going to have this weekend.
You're gonna see Brian at least in some B-roll footage at the very least. So
Mm-hmm.
All right, Stacie, we reached at.
I can be reached on Twitter, X, Instagram, and Threads at TV and Coupon Talk.
Brian can be reached at.
QuantumLeap-OwlsPlace.com.
If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are a number of ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join one of my Korman Productions Facebook pages. You can buy something from the Korman Productions or on Zazzle. You can buy me a coffee, which is I don't need to say that anymore. You can join the Korman Productions membership for 99 cents a month. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video, as well as subscribing to our channel. This is Dave, Stacie, and Brian from Korman Productions, signing off.